art store. I bought myself a Pictomicron and some crystal core. I made a fancy comic, and now I am all set to be the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking internet. I'll have a forum and a blog and links from DVD. I'll get reviewed by Webster, and William G. The world can be a roaster. I think it's a safe bet when you're the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking internet. When you're the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking
Hello and good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Planet Earth Live. This one we're putting in the series of Masters of Webcomics, where we talk to comic creators and cartoonists. We've got a couple of great guests coming on, Phil Witte and Rex Hesner. They've written a book about how to draw funny cartoons, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. And I'm your host, Chuck Whelan. I'm an artist, and I'm here also with my co-host, Dale Sipperley. Is he around somewhere? Or is he not here yet this morning? Well, he's not here yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Some of you might be asking actually about Art Battle. I did Art Battle this week. Hello. There's Earth space creatures are attacking me. Hopefully, they can appear up here or over there or something. So I was going to talk a bit about Art Battle. I did Art Battle this week. As you know, I've been practicing for Art Battle with Dale's coaching. So I got up on stage. There's some videos on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll try and put something together for YouTube. So I got up stage with this 5 other amazing artists. It was a very good field. Everyone did awesome art. So I did not get through out of the first round, but that's unfortunate. But thank you to everyone who came out and supported me and voted for me. I was quite happy with the work I did. I did not one that you've seen on the show. I rehearsed it a little bit. I've got my rehearsal drawing here. I think this is my practice one that I did. So it came out a bit like that. Actually, I think this one, I don't know. It's hard to say. The one, I think I did a pretty competent one. I was pretty happy with the one that I did, and it sold. Somebody bought it and took it home. So thank you. This one, it sort of was more proportional than this one. But this one looked weirder. So in a way, I thought, if I hadn't rehearsed it so much, it might have come out more interesting and weird, but we'll see. I didn't get to do a second one. So that was that. Anyway, you can see the one that I did on the show. All right. So is my producer here? Sam, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. So is Dale not here?
Seems like he's not.
Does he need a link? Oh, he's trying to call me. All right, here we go. Sorry, this is typical. Hi, Dale. Wait, hang on. I'll send you the link. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. All right, I've got to send him the link. Oh, this is always complicated. All right. Okay. Sam, can you send him the link? Are you able to do that in Messenger?
What link?
The link to the show. So if you go down to the buttons at the bottom, and there's the add guest or invite guests button, then you can copy the link and then you could send it to him in the Messenger chat, please.
Okay.
Manage that. All right, and I'm going to introduce our guests. All right, so our guests today are Phil Witte and Rex Hesner, and here it is. That's what I was looking for. Their book is Funny Stuff: How Great Cartoonists Make Great Cartoons. This book's just come out, and has a foreword by Bob Mankoff, who is the former cartoon editor of the New Yorker, and it has interviews with. Over a dozen, I think there's 15 or 16 of them, he said, cartoonists of the New Yorker. And so let's bring them on. Oh, hello. I'm getting another call now from my wife. is something not happening here? Hello, dear. Oh, the show's not coming up on Facebook. Well, it should be. It looks like it's going out to Facebook on my end, so I don't know why that would be. All right, thanks for the technical help, everybody. Anybody, if you're watching us on Facebook, send us a comment. Let's see. There's some. Yeah, I got a note from Facebook that it's going out. It looks like no problems with going out to Facebook. All right.
It says that we've got 2 viewers viewing on Facebook.
Yeah, we have 2 viewers. All right, okay. So let me go back to Phil and Rex. So Phil's a local cartoonist from San Francisco. He's a member of the National Cartoonist Society. I know him a little bit, and I don't know. Phil's been on the show before as well. I don't know Rex, other than I met him the other day at their book launch at Book Passage at the Ferry Building, which was a great place. So I'm going to ask them about that too. So. All right. Without further ado, producer, can you bring up our guests?
Yes, I also have Dale here, so I'll bring him in too.
All right. Okay. So let's bring everybody in. There we go. There's Phil. There's Rex, and there's Dale. Hello. Welcome everybody.
Sorry for the delay.
Yes, no problem. Usual technical difficulties. One day we'll do a technical hitch-free show, but not today.
Hey, Chuck, loved your intro, man. That's great stuff. Where'd you get that video and original music?
Oh, thank you so much for asking me about that, Rex. Yes, I'm very proud of that. That music is a song called the Web Cartoonist song by a guy called Owen Dunn, who does a comic strip called You Damn Kid at youdamnkid.com. I think I had it on the intro there. But yes, so I don't know Owen, but I knew his comic. But in sometime in the early 2000s, I would say somewhere around 2003 or 4, I heard that song sort of doing the rounds on the internet, and I really liked it. And I used it as the intro to a former edition when I did an audio podcast called Masters of Webcomics. And I asked him if I could use it, and he said he'd totally forgotten that he'd done it. And I'd always liked it and listened to it over the years, and I sort of thought, oh, it deserved more airtime. So he's letting me use it by kind permission. So yeah, thank you.
Great stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna redo my room just like yours. I'm gonna get the curtains, the lights, everything. I like the vibe. I only have one person to talk into it, and it's going to be tough. And it's going to be an uphill battle.
Well, I started with one person, which is Dale, and I'm sort of like, I think maybe there's a couple more now. I don't know, but not many. But yes, it's a nice basement. I put the curtains up so you can't see my car right behind us.
Okay.
Chuck, hi, Dale. How you doing? Thanks for having us.
Yes, so welcome. Thanks for coming on. All right,
Thank
producer,
you.
let's make our guests a little larger. So
Pretty good. How are you doing? It was good to see you both at the book signing.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Oh, here we go. How about
and
right,
Dale, how do you fit into this picture? All right.
There we go.
Chuck needed someone to read the book for him.
Okay.
So I was the dedicated reader.
well, yeah, sorry, I didn't have time to dive into the book. I was a bit busy with Art Battle this week, so that's been a fun thing that I've been building up towards. But and that's time. I'm going to do it again in September if anyone's interested. Or I put my name into it, so I'll do it again soon, hopefully.
When we do the audio book, Dale, we'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, you don't want my voice reading your book. But I did enjoy the book. And I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Great. Fire away.
All right. So yes. So well, okay. So I went to the presentation. I heard a little bit about the book. So do you want to do a little sort of intro and tell us a little bit about the book for and what it is for the viewers who haven't read it and don't know what it's about?
Yeah, sure. Now, Phil, I don't know if you can hear or see. You're murky. It looks like you're underwater, but you're there somehow.
Okay. Well,
that's all right.
We can hear you good.
Let's go with it. Yeah. Anyway, the book is basically an appreciation of single panel cartoons, gag cartoons, just one picture, one image. And it's compiled from years of us working and interviewing with cartoonists around the country and doing our own work. Phil, as the original Siskel and Ebert cartoon critics, if you will, And that just mushroomed after we met Bob Mankoff, and he's the one that suggested we write a book. But anyway, it's an appreciation of the form and light analysis, fun analysis, and Phil, I'm sure you can add some more to this.
Yeah, it was really, filling in a little bit of the timeline we're talking about here is that Rex and I worked on this blog called The Cartoon Companion, which we critiqued every cartoon in the New Yorker for close to 3 years, every issue. And it attracted a lot of the New Yorker cartoonists, actually, who would comment on our comments, and often saying that we're not critical enough of their fellow cartoonists. It's kind of surprising, but they were very appreciative that someone was taking the time and effort to examine their cartoons and rate them. And eventually, as Rex said, Bob Mankoff himself, the king of cartoons, contacted us and said, "Hey,
not the Pope." He corrected us though. Not the Pope of cartoons.
He's not the Pope.
The king of cartoons.
Right.
I don't know. I think he's working on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he's not.
Then who's the Pope?
Who's the Pope, Dale? Who's the Pope of cartoons?
I think it's the sitting Pope in the Vatican, but who knows? I don't know.
I don't know if Dale's got an opinion on that. That's the sort of thing Dale might have an opinion on.
Well, Bob's. I was going to say
Dale likes Sergio Aragonés, but he doesn't really do a single panel cartoon.
No,
I mean he does its marginals. I mean they're single panel cartoons.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they're and he I met Sergio and he at the National Cartoon Society in Huntington Beach. Mort Gerberg, Sergio Aragonés, and I were in a car driven by Sergio, and that was
Oh wow, that's a fun car.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, that's like.
Yes. Well, that's rather the nice thing about cartoonists is that it's quite easy to sort of meet and hang out with them. It's fun to be in the car with his famous cartoonists. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like 100 years of cartooning experience, not including me.
Well, I don't know if that's a sense of.
But it was great.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what that'll get you. 100 years of cartooning experience. I'm not sure. Adds up to something.
Yeah. So, and again, back to this. Bob Mankoff eventually said, "Hey, you guys should work for his new company." Basically, after he left the New Yorker to start the cartoonstock.com, which is like a clearinghouse for cartoons. It's kind of like Getty Image for cartoons.
Yeah, I would ask some more about that. I mean, I've got some work on there myself. Wasn't sure how much to put on there really, because there's some things I did that. I mean, is that mostly for things that you've sort of submitted around, and then you don't know what else to do with them or whatever?
Yeah, there's that, or it's already been published someplace, and
yes.
So if you're in New Yorker or Wall Street Journal, any of the other publications that are listed on the site. You can then put it on there. So there's provenance, right? Provenance.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yes, okay. So this appeared in the New Yorker. Yes, very good.
Right. So then so as you know, then people can use it for their newsletters. They can essentially lease the cartoon and I've had a textbook, publishers use the cartoons, and so anyway, that's another income stream for cartoonists. So we were working with Bob on that to do a blog called Anatomy of a Cartoon, which we did for a couple of years. And while we're in the course of so impressed with our work, said.
Yeah, so he could write the forward for it. He's just trying to get his name into as many forwards as possible. Is that the goal?
Well, we had the privilege. We had the
right, you should write a book, and I'll write the forward. And then he gets his name on another book. It says Bob Mankoff. And then next people are like, oh look, he's got his name on so many books. We better make him the Pope.
Well, we had the privilege of talking to Bob about once a month, and I cherish those conversations because you have no idea where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Once he starts, 5 minutes in, and he's off and running, and he's got a supple and wildly imaginative mind, and he's a funny guy. I mean, he's an interesting guy to talk with.
So
And
he really motivated you to put it into the book after you'd been doing it as a blog.
Well, he's the one that just, it was Phil. It was almost an offhand comment. He just said, guys, yeah, why don't you write a book? Just like that. That was it. That was the start of it.
Well, when Bob Mankoff tells you to write a book, you should do it. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It was, we started thinking about it, but he was solidly behind it, all the way through. And we would communicate with him in the course of the book, and he was certainly instrumental in just putting the whole thing together. So we really owed that to him.
There's no way we could have done it without him and his treasure trove, his mountain of cartoons that he sits atop of at Cartoon Stock.
Yes. Okay. And so so Cartoon Stock. You're telling me I should put my work on, more of my work. I've had a little bit, and I've got some checks from them. I was like, oh, that's quite good. I only got a couple of little things on there. Some I did I did some caricatures a while back, and I didn't really know what to do with them. I sort of stuck them on there, and once in a while I get a download, and I get a decent check, for one. So that's good. Yes. So cheers, Bob Mankoff.
Cheers.
Did Bob Mankoff talk to you about the target audience for this book, who he thought the buyers would be?
He didn't say anything specifically, but I mean, in the intro and in other comments, I guess he said, this is for, in an personal email to Rex and me, he said, this is a great analysis of cartoons and will be helpful to aspiring cartoonists. And even though we didn't really see it as a how-to step-by-step book on how to draw a cartoon, how to draw the figures and so on, I think for cartoonists, I think it is helpful. And I got an email. I'm not sure I can mention her name, but a well-known New Yorker cartoonist said to me, I wish this book had been around when I first started cartooning.
Oh, who was that, Phil? Hey, Phil, who was that?
I don't necessarily have permission to mention her name. I would do what
Phil, you spent too long as a lawyer. Listen to you.
Yeah, he's permanently damaged. Yeah,
that's true.
Hey, Phil, you're safe here. It's Earth space.
Yes. There's nobody watching.
Okay.
Well, Roz Chast doesn't need it.
But it wasn't Roz.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Because she has her own book.
Although it's not a how-to, as Phil says. First of all, it gives a broad overview so that people are more aware of the different styles, of the different types of humor. And I think the main thing it does for an aspiring cartoonist is it gives a look underneath the hood, if you will, about how the basics of humor work, and very specific guidance, for example, on, say, writing captions. We have 8 rules.
Oh, you had some rules in there. Okay, good. I was going
to flip over to chapter 6. That's right 6. There,
let's
man.
skip ahead to chapter 6. Oh, where's my glasses?
Yeah, and it'll give you some guidance on how to write a great cartoon, starting with keep it short.
It was interesting.
Here we go, chapter 6.
Is that it? Caption incongruity? Yeah. Hang on. Maybe it's 7.
It was interesting that
7. Sorry, chapter 7. Yeah.
Here we go.
There you go.
Caption list. All right, Phil.
Yeah. The first one's a great example. It's called.
People see that. He goes.
Yeah.
He's lost in the desert and he sees a cactus. He goes, Phil, thank God.
Yeah. I think she's calling out to my co-author here.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yes, she is. That's her husband. Yeah. Okay.
It was interesting in the writing section of the book that you drew parallels to gag writing for stand-up cartoonists. Stand-up comedians. And we were talking about setup and punch and using words with the hard C, which are funnier, and putting the punchline at the end. it is a number of things that it's a synopsis of what you would see in stand-up comedy books on joke writing.
Yes, that's the same. Yeah, joke
lines.
writing. I remember reading that. You put the punchline, the funny word at the end.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So look,
I
you're
mean,
looking. Hey, Chuck, you're looking at one of Phil's cartoons.
Oh yeah, here's a Phil cartoon. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I like this one. Yes, you can afford to retire at 65, but you'll need to die at 70.
See, that's the 1-2 punch. That's caption guidance number 3.
Okay, create
Yes.
expectation, then dashing them. Yes, there was a guy in Private Eye did a lot of them. I think he did that one, Alex, in the 80s, and he was a sort of master. You would do strips. He was the master of the expectation and then dashing them cartoon.
Yes.
right. It's the bad news joke. Good news is this.
Oh, yes.
The bad news, and the bad news has to be far worse than the good news is good for the humor to work. But yeah, you're right about Dale about the parallel between just comedy writing and gag writing for cartoons.
Yes.
Chuck just brought it up. We're talking about the basis of humor, which is the setup sets an expectation, and the punch destroys that expectation. And the mental, you've talked about this in the book, the mental confusion needs to be released, and the release is humor.
Right, and it has to be done. You can always put things that don't make sense together in a cartoon, but unless it's presented in this kind of unique and surprising, delightful way, it's just confusing and not funny necessarily. So you have to have the comic sensibility to put it all together.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, Phil, about this cartoonist. What's their name? Is it Hafili?
Bill Hayfley, William Hayfley.
William Hayfley. Okay, and you said he takes 2 weeks to do a cartoon, and they're very beautifully done.
Yes, and we just emailed him recently about the book, and he said, "Oh yeah, I love everyone, all the cartoonists we've sent, who've seen the book, New Yorker cartoonists and the other cartoonists we've destroyed, they love it." I'm not exaggerating; they're just effusive in their praise of it. And he recently emailed me. He said, I haven't finished the book. I'm 2 weeks behind, or I'm sorry, he has 9 cartoons that have been accepted to the New Yorker that he hasn't drawn yet because it takes him so long to draw these cartoons. And the care of what you could just see the work in every detail and all these different textures that he managed to do with just pencil and a Sharpie, black, kind of black Sharpie.
I find it so peculiar that he spends so much time on like a cartoon. I mean, I sort of do and I don't. I mean, I guess I've done things where I've sort of spent a lot of time on them like this. And then there's yours. I mean, to draw funny, you sort of have to draw it kind of like, yes, you put your time in it, but, you don't want to be too perfect in a way. It's more funny if it looks like, the cartoonist was just sort of not worrying about it too much,
Well, and we talk about the illustrations now. So, some look a little slapdash, or it's a very simple line, and they're just as funny. It's just you can appreciate, the different styles. I think it's like
it's interesting the variation. But I mean, I remember I've known about this with cartoons comics for a long time. I mean, I remember reading about I think Jim Starlin when he was sort of doing like Adam Warlock and stuff, which I really loved when I was a kid, and it was so sort of detailed to that. But they said it took so long that he took like a week to do a page, and he was eating cereal, and that's so I don't understand. He spent 2 weeks.
Well, and when we
the book actually,
go ahead, Dale.
Well, the book actually talks about the importance of the liveliness of the line, and
yes,
it actually and I have to echo what Chuck said about it's surprising how long it takes, according to what you've written in the book, for cartoonists to draw those. but then they're fighting to make it look fresh and spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the struggle. I've gone for both. I've gone all over the map with it myself. So I never know where it's the best place to be. Yeah.
Well, we have in chapter 3, we have a step-by-step drawing by Cameron Hafiz, who also he collaborate. Phil and Cameron collaborate. So you'll see. Keep going. There we go.
This one.
So there's the step-by-step drawing. So he has the idea in that sketch, and we show the gradual build-up from that very light sketch to a highly three-dimensional drawing. And then the next page is where I think this idea of the line and how lively it is, that's the irrevocable and scary step of inking the drawing.
Yes.
And that's where the line must remain limber.
Yes. So what I've been doing on this show in recent weeks really is sort of trying to skip all the pencil bit and going straight in with the inking, which has been very challenging. I'm sort of going back to penciling a bit, just because it was more as a sort of like an exercise. Like early on, we had joked that we were sort of on Venice Beach here on Saturday mornings.
Well, Chuck, you're brave. You're a brave man.
I mean, it requires some bravery. I mean, that's why I went and got on stage and did it in Art Battle too. But I used a bit of pencil at Art Battle. I don't know. Again, I thought, well, maybe that was bad. Maybe I should have just stuck to my guns and just gone in with a pen, because I think it's more exciting for the people.
I have a question that isn't covered in the book.
Yeah.
And
shall we just quickly finish then? Here's the fully rendered panel, and that's a very beautiful panel, and that's what that's a very old school, like a sort of Charles Addams cartoon. I mean, I love Charles Addams. I mean,
I think we've lost Phil.
He seems to have quite bad internet. Phil, if you can see us or hear us, just try refresh and come back in. You should be able to get back in.
Right.
Or maybe he's backstage. Is Sam keeping an eye on that? Oh, look, I see him. He is backstage. There he is.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The connection is not very good. I apologize. But
sorry, and we're not very good at keeping up with
Phil, aren't you in San Francisco?
I'm in Piedmont, which is East Bay.
Oh, okay. Because in San Francisco, the internet has to go up and down those hills, so it goes a farther distance.
Yeah, well, it's pretty hilly where I am, actually. That's
it. It's the hills.
Yeah.
I had a question about something not covered in the book.
Yes.
And it's something that I know because I'm Facebook pals with Shannon Wheeler, who's in the New Yorker in your book. Plug to Shannon Wheeler.
Here's I believe that's a Shannon Wheeler right there.
Yeah, right there. Walking the sloth.
Many of the cartoonists,
Yeah.
many of the cartoonists in the book you're describing are working ink on paper. And even though the book does describe new cartoonists moving over to tablets like an iPad or another computer-based device, is selling originals a big part of the income stream of these cartoonists? And is that why they're working pen and ink?
I can speak to that a little bit. I don't think it really is for the most part. There are avenues, I think of Beth Lawler, who does the curated cartoons, and that's a possibility. And I personally have gotten requests for original cartoons that have appeared. I mean, the Wall Street Journal has run over 100 of my cartoons, and I've gotten requests from Wall Street Journal readers, and the Wall Street Journal then refers them to me, and we work something out. But I can't imagine, frankly, that it's it's sporadic, for one thing, that you get these requests. And I'm not Roz Chast, or a big name that probably gets more requests. It's all that. But I guess I can't definitively, but my guess is it doesn't happen all that often.
Or maybe there's some market or dealer in them. I mean, I think there is some sort of people. There are some people that deal in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Here's the cartoon.
I know
like,
there
this
are
is,
dealers.
Yeah, Dale was going about retail. I want to talk about the actual making of the art. Now, and this is a nice art cartoon where I guess under the category of exaggeration, but that's where the art really, the atmosphere that is created by the light and the shadow and the little figure down here, and Welcome to Iowa. I mean, that's I like a very nice art-based cartoon.
And you don't see that much of it anymore in the New Yorker or other publications. I don't think people are the current cartoonists are taking the time to really, and if you're of that bent, to draw something with deep perspective and deep shadows and a dramatic kind of format. Maybe it's out of style. I don't know.
Yeah.
So while you're looking at that cartoon,
yeah.
This is an example that we pulled out as to illustrate types of humor. And this one, I know you'll find this shocking. It illustrates the concept of exaggeration.
Yes.
Yes. So,
although I'm not sure how exaggerated it is.
That's right.
I mean, if you go to those stores, it's quite.
I know.
He's got the road, like looks like there's a road down the middle, like there.
Well, that's the state line.
Since we're looking
that's
at
the state line. Oh, that's the state line. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the state line.
Okay, I didn't quite get it. Okay, yes. Okay, now I got it. I just thought it was like, okay, she's just in one of these sort of big box stores, and it's like she's on the street. But yes, I see. It's the state line. Yes, all right. I don't have I'm not wearing my glasses. It does say underneath it.
Shut up, Chuck.
What does it say? The hardware section. The Hawkeye State. The Hawkeye State. Okay.
The Hawkeye State. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right.
Since we're looking at this one, the one set in the warehouse, that's kind of unique because most of the New Yorker cartoons don't have a border or a regular border. And I was wondering why does the New Yorker kind of gravitate to borderless one panels?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think, Dale, you're going in and out a little bit. Phil, did you hear that? It's about New Yorkers.
Why did the New Yorker
the publishing? I think that's an individual art style. I mean, John O'Brien, for example, always does a border, and I think it's up. It varies from cartoonist to cartoonist.
I think probably for graphic design reasons, Dale, like a borderless panel, it's less demanding on the page. It's got a bit of breathing room around it, that they can flow the text and create a little white space on the page.
On page 16, for example, one of my favorites is John O'Brien, and on every one of his drawings, he does a nice thin border.
That's pretty funny, actually.
That's great, isn't it? Yeah, and this is as we talk about, Phil. This is the highest degree of difficulty. Not only is it captionless, there aren't any words at all, and he's got to tell a whole story. In this case, quite a whimsical one.
Yeah, whimsical. Yes, I love it. Yeah.
With nothing but his illustration skills. It's really quite difficult.
And it's a popular idea. I mean, it's making me think, did you see that Ralph Fiennes movie where he's sort of running the exclusive restaurants on the island and all the rich people are sort of going to his, this sort of restaurants having to become this sort of performative thing.
And it's probably not Chuck, it's not surprising that to us, John O'Brien has illustrated over 100 children's books.
Yeah.
And you can see it has that whimsical style, it's sort of magical look that has that kind of fantasy quality to them, a timeless quality. You can't really place it in time, that just makes it just you can apply your own imagination to these very whimsical kind of cartoons.
Yeah, he's not really using any rulers or anything, or like deep thought. I mean, unless he's obviously got some knowledge of things, but he's not really bothering too much with the formalities of drawing. But he's just making a beautiful image. But overall, the overall effect, I mean, with the light and the shade and everything, is just all comes together really well.
It's like a woodcut. It's like a woodcut from the previous century or two.
Well, yes, there's always that sort of aspect, I think, of, wood cutting. Especially, I do a lot with sort of games and role-playing games and Goodman games where they've got all the sort of old school D&D artists. So we're always a lot working in that sort of idea of black and white and the woodcutty sort of feel to it. Yeah.
Does the New Yorker just print its pages in black and white, or does it print all the pages in color? The reason I asked this is I just saw a Joe Dater cartoon.
You got your that one, hasn't he? You can't answer that.
Well, I think it's all in color, given there's an ad on every page.
Okay.
I mean, Dale, do you understand the printing process? You make color separations, color plates. So if the type would just be in black.
Yes, but
so
I don't know
with the ink on the black plate. And then if there's color on there, there'd be a little color separation. There'd be cyan, magenta, and yellow as well to make the color. But they wouldn't print the type using all four colors. That would be that sort of registration black that only appears at the corners. Sorry.
Yes, but my question is, does the New Yorker allow the use of spot color in its cartoons? And the reason I ask is I recently saw a Joe Dater cartoon that used spot yellow for goldfish.
Yeah, and they've used red for blood with Ed Steed, and then they routinely print in the sketchbook section where they have someone will do a multi-panel. But
you could use this book as a coloring book if you wanted as well. A coloring book is very popular these days.
I did not think of that. Phil, the children's version.
Yeah.
The
New Yorker coloring book. How about that? That would probably do quite well.
I like that.
Yeah.
Chuck, you're a marketing genius.
Well, I just come up with the ideas. Other people can execute on them.
Yeah. Dale, I don't know if we were answering your question or not, but
I don't worry about it. But it sounds like occasionally the New Yorker will allow spot color, and for some cartoons they'll go full color.
Right. I mean, Roz Chast. I would just say Roz Chast and Emily Flake, I know, have done full page, not single panel, like little stories. And as well
Leanna Fink, she's done it too.
There's Roz.
It's all funny. Yeah. He's got a very crude sort of style. What they have, I don't know who they are. Yeah.
We've talked to him. He is an unusual cat. He's a showrunner on television.
Okay, he's an unusual. Yeah, his cartoons are very unusual. Okay. Oh yeah, here he is. Okay, Bruce Eric Kaplan. A world drained of warmth. Yes. Characters inhabit a glacial void, normally defined by a sidewalk or generic interior. Yes, that sounds right. Eyes, normally a cartoon character's most expressive feature, are near empty ovals. Even children bring no joy in Beckville. Joy is not a fertile ground for humor, he observed.
and he wrote a memoir called I Was, which is expressive, some of his years, which clearly he has not abandoned, and they take form and expression in his cartoons. even though he's incredibly successful in as a showrunner for shows and as a cartoonist, there's still this sort of darkness about him. I think his stuff
Yes,
is
and
great,
he's
but,
embraced it. That's very, yes, he's sort of like, rather than turning away from it, or he's just sort of goes right into it, I guess. Fear of abandonment haunted him as a boy. He imagined that his parents and brothers might sneak out of the house when he was sleeping, and it wasn't until he heard them breathing in the next room that he could relax.
Well, in the book, Roz Chast describes using her cartoons to illustrate anxieties that she has had. And I remember Lynn Johnson, who drew For Better or Worse, described as a child she would draw cartoons of things that were going on in her family as a form of therapy. Are we looking in New Yorker cartoons at a bunch of people too cheap to afford a therapist?
Well, you have to be bravely truthful. I don't know if there's a limit to this. Like recently, I was discussing the show Baby Reindeer. So a couple of people had seen that. I don't know if any of you have seen that. Written by this, written and starring a guy sort of telling his own true story about like the stalker that he got involved with. But really, he himself is a terrible character, and he's sort of painfully, in a sort of disturbingly honest way. Got to go like, is that what's happening? Is that where we've got to go? But you do have to be bravely honest, I think, to do something, artistically good and truthful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I Phil, we've talked to a number of these artists, and certainly Leanna Fink, Roz Chast, and we can name some others. They do put their inner feelings into their drawings, and it creates an emotional outlet. Others, Seth Fleischman, I wouldn't say that his wonderful and often captionless drawings, I'm not sure they express something, an inner emotion for him. And but the last one I'd mention, Phil, is Frank Cotham, who, given the choice between describing himself as a glass half empty or glass half full person, he describes himself what, Phil, as a
glass empty.
Glass empty.
Glass empty.
Yeah.
Well, here's Gare Wilson. All right, yeah, he's a favorite of mine through I liked all the underground cartoonists and everything. That was a big thing for me.
That was actually something that I nitpicked when reading the book. When you brought up Gan Wilson and you brought up Playboy.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, keep going, Dale. What?
I was always going about Playboy. Well, Playboy is a good place for cartoon. I had an art teacher, and she'd had her. She did illustrations. She did illustrations for Playboy. They were a good market for artists and cartoonists.
Oh yeah, they're a big market. A woman was the cartoon editor for decades there. I can't recall her name. National Lampoon was another great outlet for cartoons.
Yes, and as you say, you talked about this at your event, the market for cartoons. It's different, but then again, anyone can see a cartoon. I mean, cartoons are perfect for the web and Instagram and everything. I mean, that's what, that's built around something that you're just looking at in a single image.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, all right. Well, that's very good. I don't know. You said you were a bit sort of limited on time this morning, so I don't know if I need to let you go or if you want to sort of hang around for a bit. That's up to you.
Yeah, I'm on to something else very soon here. So
yes.
Well, we appreciate your time, and
yeah,
thank you very much, Chuck. You were at the event. I should just mention we'll be Our next appearance will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Montclair Presbyterian Church, of all places, on Thornhill Drive in Oakland, in conjunction with those good people at A Great Good Place for Books. And we'll be doing a presentation similar to what we did at Book Passage. Rex and I will be there. We'll be doing our ad-libbing best, performing with a projection of some of the cartoons here and talking about the book and fielding questions, just as we have done today.
And where can they get the book now? In at Book Passage? Book Passage said they sold out.
Yes. But they're restocking. That's the key, Chuck. They're restocking as we speak. But you can get it local bookstores or Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, it's on Amazon and everywhere. Okay, great. No. All right, well done, guys. Thanks very much. Yes, so you can just leave by closing your browser. I'm going to go. The show's going to continue on here. I'm going to do a bit of drawing and stuff. I don't know if hopefully I can get Dale back.
Okay,
sounds great. Hey, thanks, Chuck. It was good seeing you
so much.
at our event. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, and that was very fun. All right, guys. I'm gonna put like a little. I'll put a little music video on for a minute. Like we'll
all right. Are you gonna play us off?
Yeah. Hang on. I got to figure out how to do it. Wait, can't.
Yeah. Stay in your chair. We're gonna play you off. All right.
All right. Video storage. Here we go. All right. Here's Astro Kitty drawing. Oh, we'll do this one. Okay.
Great. Thanks.
Us back. Here we go. There we go. All right, that was enough of funny stuff there with Phil and Rex. What a great book! I definitely recommend everybody go out and buy a copy. Actually, I hadn't really dug into it, and actually having a look through there, it looks really, really good, doesn't it? I'm really excited to read more about these cartoonists. I think it's interesting to know about their personalities and the different ideas and the different forms. Have a little form on an analysis. You don't need to go into it too deeply, but they sort of instinctual thing. Cartoon. I mean, anyone can do it, really. You just sort of got to do it. I mean, if you've got a funny idea. All right.
It's
go ahead.
An interesting book for anybody who takes part in the New Yorker caption contest every week. It's a must buy. So people who are New Yorker subscribers, they really should get it. People who love the cartoons in National Lampoon and Playboy, it's a good book to get because it dissects those books. Amber's saying it looks like a good book for comedy writing.
Yeah, I think it is quite good. It sort of breaks down the different sections of.
Yeah, but it's specific comedy writing to those cartoons. I don't think you'll learn something, but I don't think it would apply to writing comic books. I don't know how much helpful. I don't know how.
I think if you can
for strips.
Well, maybe, but if you can understand the principles in a cartoon, the cartoon's in a way it's the most simple form. It's a sort of drawn. It's the best cartoon uses the fewest number of lines and the fewest number of words. If you somehow make somebody laugh with a dot, then that's
well. If that was true, then they would just publish blank space in the New Yorker. Amber thinks you can gather wisdom from everywhere. Yeah, I mean, when I read the book, the impression I got was that it was like that book Mort Walker wrote, the Lexicon Comicana. He went into depth about a very focused subject. And that's what this book is. It goes into depth on a very focused subject, but it left some stuff out that I would have liked to have in it. Before I was cut off, I was going to say, Amber says I can buy you that book.
Right.
Okay. Send me your address, Amber.
Okay. You're looking at the comments there. Sorry, I haven't been looking at people's comments. Thank you, Amber, for tuning in. Hi, everybody. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Tina. If you managed to find us, I don't know what the problem was. All right.
Oh, Amber, if you're talking about the Lexicon Comicana, you can find that on the Internet Archive. So you don't need me to buy that for you.
Don't forget, Amber's got her Philo show tonight. The show, we're unofficially, I've declared us unofficially twinned with Amber's show. She's not said anything about it.
And I might be the cartoonist tonight. I got to get back to Amber about that.
But yeah, check out Amber's Philo show tonight at 6.
Well,
it was on it last week. It was very fun. I'll do it again for sure. And some more live drawing there. And Bruce and Charmworld. I went to see Charmworld this week. That was very fun. They were playing on a bill with the Lipstick Killers with my friend Roxy. I was doing the Roxy Roller Radio Show. The Roxy Roller Radio Show, at least we've decided to discontinue that project. Roxy's got his own show that you should definitely check out, which is the Hate Street Sessions. That's every Saturday night. They were playing. That was great to see them. And Love Slaughter, which or Love's Laughter. They're either Love Slaughter or Love's Laughter. It depends where you put the S. And they're a very fun band. And that was good too. The second time I've seen them. I think Hate Street Sessions will be going on tonight. So tune into that. And all right. So look, here's a piece of paper. That looks about right. That's a good amount of space. I'm going to put little marks on it so that I know where I don't want to go outside of that. All right, what are we going to draw today then? I just got a sheet after art battle.
You should do a New Yorker. You should do a New Yorker cartoon.
Well, all right, okay. I should do it. Yeah, I'll do a New York cartoon. Well, I'm doing it on Bristol board, so I was just going to do it in black and white.
Okay, well, you know how to do a wash. What you should do...
Then I'd have to do it on the watercolor paper, and I got the Bristol board out today.
Well, you can do a wash on Bristol. You should do one of the cliches that's listed in the book.
Okay.
And one of the obvious cliches is the desert island.
Oh, the desert island. Oh, all right. All right. Well,
So
then I'll draw like an Earth girl on a desert island, and then
Well,
we'll think about what else
just-
we're going. You'll have to think about what's going to make it funny.
You're going to have to make it New Yorker worthy. So are you going to come up with the caption first?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Okay, so my normal way, if I had to come up with a cartoon, is I would just start drawing, like in pencil, and sort of try different things. It would get quite messy, and I'd come up with different ideas. So because this is a show, and I know what to do, I know how to do. So I'm going to look for some pose to sort of start a drawing from, and
No,
as we go along, we'll figure it out.
No reference. Just put it. It's in your head. You know what a desert island looks like.
Well, I know all that, but this is a drawing show.
Art battle's over. You just do something different. No
I am doing
more.
something different.
Stop looking up references of punk models and doing their portraits. Do something different.
Why? That's what this show's about.
The art battle's over until September. It's time to do something different.
Okay, well, you tell me the idea then. You're the one writing this cartoon.
All right.
With improvisation, you're supposed to say yes to what the person says.
All right. And I want a desert island, but in your futuristic style with a futuristic castaway on it. It could be a desert. Okay. It could be a desert, like a little planet with a palm tree.
All right. I've got an idea. I don't know if it's funny though. It's funny to me right now. I think this is some AI art I'm stealing from. It's good. I quite like this idea of stealing from AI art. Now AI art's getting better, because you can't get in any copyright trouble for stealing AI art, except from the artists.
Wait, that will come. I have no doubt in my mind that you will eventually be able to copyright AI art.
Well, so far the Copyright Office has said no.
Yeah, trust me, the courts will say yes. There's too much money involved.
I'm not totally ignoring you, Dale, but I'm largely.
You're just largely ignoring me. Amber wanted a desert island with a robot on it.
Okay, we'll add a robot, all right. But we have to make it funny in the way of a New Yorker cartoon. Do you have the book there, Dale? Have you got some tips you could look up to what we can do to make it funnier?
Well, I read the book, so you want to have a lively line. You do not want to be over-rendered. It's up to you whether or not to add any sort of tonal variation. Typically, you're looking at watercolor or ink wash, which is what many of them use to get a tonal variation. So you want something that looks organic, but that's not the rule. You want some, and often the characters are kind of dowdy. They're more cartoony than realistic. What you're drawing right now would be more likely to be in Playboy than it would be in the New Yorker.
I should be so lucky. Ooh, then I could get invited to the Playboy Mansion.
Well, Playboy Mansion was sold.
Well, who bought that, lucky bastard?
I don't know, but he bought it before Hugh Hefner passed away.
It didn't come with all the girls.
No, but trust me, I think it would have been a better idea just to empty and fill in the pools than try to clean them. Amber's reminding us that she did art for Playboy. Amber has some experience Amber has some experience as a professional. Well, as a professional cartoonist for adult magazines, is a way of putting it. And Playboy is, of course, it was the premier magazine for adults. It really didn't need all those naked ladies. It just needed the cartoons.
I would say there's probably a lot of non-adults who are looking at them too.
Is that an admission, Sam?
No, I'm not 40.
Sam's an adult. He's 21 years old.
I'm not 40. Thanks, Sam. Have you
Like
even seen an adult magazine?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
Yeah, we only have like comics in this.
Wow. I feel old now. I am
No adult
so
books.
old. Yes, Sam, I used to get the adult magazines for the cartoons because that's honestly, after Mad and Cracked magazine, the best cartoons were in the adult magazines. And that's what I wanted to talk to our guests today before my internet connection went out, because the book briefly mentions Playboy because Gan Wilson was in Playboy.
Okay.
But they didn't go into much about single panel cartoons in men's magazines. And that was a big market for them.
I think this is going to be more like in the caption contest kind of cartoon.
This is looking more like
You'll see.
This is
I'm
more.
going to come in with some black.
This could have been something in National Lampoon. They talked about National Lampoon in the book, and they mentioned Sam Gross, the humor editor for National Lampoon, Sam Gross was an amazing cartoonist and created the classic cartoon for National Lampoon about the Frog's Leg restaurant.
All right, I'm trying to. Okay, look, my joke is. All right, I'm going to go in with the black. You're going to help me with the...
I'm not helping you at all with this. You were the one who should have been reading the book to know what a New Yorker cartoon.
Well, okay, I'm being reminded now. I didn't think of her exactly when I started it, but I was remembering about the big statue we saw going to up the Fisherman's Wharf. I mean, not Fisherman's Wharf.
The runner.
The runner there. Yes, I don't know what that statue's called. It was a very cool statue.
Okay.
So this is like there's a giant woman, a giant punk woman on the desert islands instead of a tree. For some reason.
Okay, I'm trying to find the name of the statue.
Dale, unfortunately, you sealed the deal when you said don't draw a punk woman.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a bit like that. It's like if you tell me not to do something, like draw it, then I can't. It's almost like I can't help it. I think that's why they call it like manga. They call it like sort of bad drawing. I really like when I learned that. I was like, oh, I really like that definition of it because it's always to me. When I was little, my mum came in and she found me, and I was drawing like all over the walls, and saying to myself, "That's very naughty."
Okay, the statue that you were talking about is a 9-foot tall woman dressed in jogging apparel.
Yes.
And it is called As Sounds Turn to Noise. And it is on loan from a gallery in Los Angeles for the next 6 months.
Yeah, awesome. It was a lovely piece. I particularly liked her sneakers and the detail on the sneakers, which is the bit that you sort of see. That's the sort of like if you're looking down, you really see the detail on those sneakers.
And the sculptor is a Brit, like you. His name is Thomas J. Price.
Thomas J. Christ.
Price, like
Jesus Christ, no!
No,
Jesus Christ!
Price is in
Jesus
the Price
Christ!
Is
No! Did
Right.
I do it right?
All right. It's part
You
of an
did it
exhibit.
beautifully!
The sculpture was part of an exhibit called Beyond Measure, and all of the statues in that exhibit, according to the article I'm reading, all of the statues featured expressionless Black subjects doing mundane things or nothing at all. The goal of the exhibit is to
What happened? You cut out again?
amplify the visibility of
We
marginalized.
lost you for a second there.
I saw the statue. It's a great statue, but the problem is because I'm from the Bay Area, and this is something displayed in San Francisco, I assumed it was a Robert Crumb girl.
It did. She did. I mean, that was my first thing. Is that she felt very comic booky. I mean, I liked that she was, an athletic lady. That was nice.
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
great
very
Amazon, gigantic
stylized
Amazon
realism.
woman.
It wasn't. It almost had an Art Deco feel to it.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, you're using too dark. The blacks are too dark. If you look at the New Yorker cartoons, except for the lines, they're very sparing in black.
All right, but I'm getting into doing black and white. You've been telling me about doing black and white.
Yes, but now we're talking about New Yorker cartoons.
Well, I know,
You
but
see,
we're doing one more
You've
render.
gone through your art battle phase. Your next step is to get in
It's
the
not
New
a
Yorker.
phase. It's not a phase, Mom. God.
Mom? Mom? Do I have to take off my pants?
All right, now, okay, so now there's two guys down here. There's Chuck and Dale.
Okay, Chuck, you need to start submitting to the New Yorker. And 800 cartoons from now, you might be able to get in.
Might be able to sell one for $75.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, like the ones that go on Cartoon Stocks, I've got, a little bit from those. I mean,
okay. Amber's saying I didn't get a reference. Amber, since you are young and hip, please explain the reference to me. Amber will act as Sam's translator.
Like the Jesus Christ no bit. That's the Wicker Man, if anybody was wondering.
I
think she was talking about the "it's not a phase, Mom" bit.
Yeah, I think
that's just general. That's just generic. I thought.
I think that was the one that I needed an explanation for. Parents in the 90s and 2000s would argue that the kids were going through a phase of they changed their hair and everything. Okay. Yes, when I was a child, we had no phases. Oh, God. Excuse me a moment.
Where's he gone?
Some sort of alarm went off and he disappeared.
It's really his cat. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, here's Chuck and Dale arrived on the desert island. Dale's got a cat.
Sorry, I had to take a call.
All right, now I'm starting to take suggestions for a caption now.
All right,
All right.
Just the caption should read "nice tree," and you don't have any waves.
Well, I haven't done the horizon yet. Yeah.
All right. Could you zoom in on me? I'd like to see what I look like.
Well, you can't see it very clearly.
No, I look like. Well, those are terrible waves. Waves are supposed to be like swoopy, pointy. Oh. It looks like we're in the desert. You need to pull out some old Sergio Aragona's grooves, and they'll teach you how to draw water.
All right. Well, because it's Earth space, our spaceship crashed.
Oh, all right. So we've just discovered like some giant woman. You haven't implied if it's a statue.
All
right.
All right. Is there anybody got any ideas for a caption? Send your answers on a postcard, please.
Well, remember that, and I didn't get a chance to bring this up. There is the universal New Yorker caption that applies to every New Yorker cartoon.
Okay, well, all right, we'll start with that one.
And the caption is "Christ, what an asshole." That's
I don't think that. I did that work on this. I don't know that it does. Really.
It works on all of them.
Christ, what an asshole.
That is the universal New Yorker caption.
Don't write it yet. Don't write it yet.
I'm not writing it yet. That's like
I want to think.
I thought there were several. I thought there were several of those though. Generic.
Do you know what they are?
Caption. I'm going to look it up.
Do you need
wait,
reference?
I have an idea. I have an idea.
Do you need reference for a cat? Because I can dig out Huey.
Okay, no, I think I have an idea. I want to try something.
Okay, so here's the fifth one somebody's come up with. Almost positive you're in the wrong panel, my guy.
That's pretty good. Wait. 1 second. 1 second.
Okay, here it goes. Christ, what an asshole.
Yeah.
What a misunderstanding is the second one. That was okay. So 2006 was Christ, what an asshole was discovered. What a misunderstanding in 2011. Okay, 2 unlocked by Frank Camaro. Everyone was apparently very bored at work that day.
No, the only one that works on all of them is Christ, what an asshole.
Hi, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. That one works.
Okay, use that as your caption. Have you ever tried to get into the New Yorker, Chuck?
No, I've never tried to get into the New Yorker.
You should. That should be your next challenge, the New Yorker.
Well, how about, would you like to come on our podcast? Would you like to come on my podcast? Have I unlocked that one? Does that one work? Is that a universal caption?
How about Christ? Would you like to come on my podcast, asshole?
Would you like to come on my podcast? I think I'm going to go with, would you like to come on my podcast?
All right. Can't believe that's how you think I look. I think you're in the wrong panel, Works. It's too late now. He's doing it in ink, Amber.
Yeah, I think you're in the wrong panel, my dude. But I think this one, this might be a contender for. I might have discovered this might have happened right here and now. Whatever today is, Saturday, July 20th, 2024. I think I've unlocked. Would you like to come on my podcast?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I feel like it needs a little more blackness.
It needs, well, if it's going to be in the New Yorker, it would need less black and more
What
gray.
are you talking about, Dale? That's absolute nonsense. If it works with black, they'll use it with black. They might think, oh, we haven't seen one with black that works before, we'll use that. I mean, honestly, that's the same mentality that the greeting card industry use. They say, oh, most greeting cards are bought by women, so we're only going to make greeting cards that appeal to women.
Okay, have you been to a men's targeted greeting card store?
No, but whenever I go into a greeting card store, I can't find any, so now I just leave it to Tina.
Okay.
But as a cartoonist anyway, I don't really go into greeting cards. I feel like obligated, but I don't really make. I don't know. Sometimes I make people a card. That's nice of me.
When I was a kid,
I should do it more often. I really feel bad that I don't, but
when I was a kid,
if you want something like this, just let me know.
Oh, shut up. When I was a kid at San Jose State, the internship to work at Hallmark was the coveted internship of the illustration department.
Really?
Yeah, and they fought over that. I had no
Why?
chance. You've seen my Christmas card. There was no way I was going to end up at Hallmark. Okay, now I want you to look at that. I want you to look at your line thickness. If you reduce that down to a New Yorker cartoon, it's not going to be legible.
The thing is, if I want to make it a New Yorker cartoon, I've got to do one every 2. It's like one every 2 weeks. You've got to spend 2 weeks over the details. Like, that's the thing. I already feel like I'm spending too long on the details for a cartoon, but I think, that's complicated. I think you have to spend more time on it, because people, when they look at it, they don't know that you spent 2 weeks on it. But I don't know that style, though. I'm not sure. It's very stiff. I've always thought his style was very stiff, and then it's like 2 weeks. No wonder.
Well, they do talk about in the book the amount of time that you spend if you're a syndicated single panel cartoonist like Dan Piraro or Keith Knight. So we're talking about the New Yorker cartoonists versus syndicated daily cartoonists, who I don't think spend the same amount.
Yeah, you're a daily cartoonist.
I am a daily cartoonist.
You're very daily.
I'm very daily.
Sorry, I'm funny.
You having a lot of fun this morning, Chuck?
I think Phil and Rex sort of opened my humor part of my brain a bit, which has been like, I guess I've been like not doing so much humor. I am moving back towards humor, and I'm going to start Pewful again soon. I think.
Have you considered Pewful as a single panel cartoon?
No, I never have really. I don't know. I find a single panel cartoon quite difficult, as this proves.
Well, you do single panel stuff.
Even here, I'm relying on
for Goodman Games.
Yeah.
Do you think Goodman Games would want single panel cartoons with a caption?
Yes. I have. He's given me an open standing order for cartoons.
Okay. Then why don't you do some New Yorker style cartoons for Goodman Games?
Okay.
Do they even have game magazines anymore for D&D? I remember there was a magazine called The Dragon, which used
it's all just like people talking on social media now.
Okay, so there's no. Sam, do you even buy any magazines?
I've never seen them promoted.
No, do you buy any magazines at all?
No, because I've never seen them promoted anywhere.
So you
only buy things if you've seen them promoted?
Okay, so
I mean, it's just like I've never thought of it. Like they're so irrelevant, like in the world that it's just like why?
Wait, weren't you getting like you had a subscription to Sports Illustrated for a while? They tried to get you on
No,
that.
they were like trying to. Like they were
Yeah.
sending me free ones.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to.
Yeah, so that I would say that's promoting a magazine.
All right, fine.
But
I
yeah,
guess that's
okay,
something.
so
that was
The
when
last
you were
magazine I really liked was the Lego magazine. I did like that as a kid.
yeah, that was
Okay.
fun. Like,
so
I mean,
you
you got
don't
to get
buy
Facebook for
any.
kids magazine, like kids into magazines. There's not enough decent kids comics in this country. There really aren't. Somebody should start a decent kids comic, I guess.
Yes, you should
Yeah,
start.
if only there was a cartoonist
If anybody
who was
if
literally
anybody knows
saying
some
these
cartoons
words.
that needed work.
Sam, do you read any cartoons like webcomics?
I have in the past, but nothing. Actually, I don't know. Not even really. It was like I read this one comic on Webtoons that I like literally forgot about.
All right.
Not really.
Well, and Pupil, of course. He reads Pupil regularly.
And Pupil, yeah.
All right.
Pupil's
actually have,
getting
though.
into a good bit. Like now's a good time. If you haven't really read Pupil, like follow it on @Pupil on Instagram or Facebook, because actually this is now the bit where I'd sort of been working with Adam for a while, and like it was like we had a bit of a bumpy start where like Adam had a bit of a tendency to go very super wacky, and I didn't quite know how to reel him in. So there was a few sort of little things that were a bit too wacky for me that happened. But at this point where we're doing it, like our relationship was very good. You know, we knew how to work together. I mean, it got increasingly better as we went on. And we're just at the bit where Tina the Warrior Princess is giving birth. And like Baron Samdi, like the evil zombie mad dictator, has taken control of the city government in Spire Castle. And the city's being attacked by the Lords of Chaos, the Chaos Army, the Chaos Horde. And the city's about to go into siege mode as Tina's giving birth. So that's good. And that story really sort of rolled along very well now for a while. So I'd hop on boards and start reading that if I were you.
Sam, do you go to any comic book shops?
No.
All right. Wow. It's not genetic, Chuck.
I read comic books online.
Okay. Like superhero stuff?
Yeah.
Dale can only enjoy media if like a tree had to die or some other plant had to die. And
It's not true. I have graphic novels on my phone.
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious because
I mean, I'm not big into comics, but I've
But-
read some of the new Avengers stuff. It was kind of interesting, I thought.
well, the book that we just talked to the authors about, that's a style of cartooning that was done for magazines. And
Well, yeah, I know about
people-
like the New Yorker style comics. I like.
yeah, New Yorker, National Lampoon, Playboy, Penthouse, lots of magazines.
Oh,
and
actually,
cartoons like that.
Another magazine I used to read, like indulge in, was Mad Magazine.
Yeah. Mad didn't have as many one panels, but Chuck points out that Sergio's marginals were one panels. But a lot of Mad was strips and long multi-page, like a small section of a graphic novel.
And later on, they would have a sort of some pages of
Strips.
cartoon sort of general submission strips and single
Yeah.
panels. I think there was some, which were some pretty good stuff. I should have submitted to that. I don't know. It's just not really like writing like a gag comic or doing that. Like, I sort of had to go with Earthspace, but even Earthspace, it was sort of very. I think I sort of learned a bit how to do it. Like part of Earthspace was sort of learning in a way how to do it from the most simple process. I mean, I broke everything down very simply, and I sort of built it up. And I think I sort of got the idea of that. But you do have to. First of all, you have to have a good idea. Like you can sit down and work on an idea and force yourself to come up with it. But the best thing to do is go out for a walk and do sort of something different, and then the idea will pop in your head, and then you have to.
Well, in the book, they talked about that there is a bias or a past bias for male white cartoonists. And then they talked about the New Yorker looking for female voices in cartooning. And that's not just now. Newspapers back in the 70s, they wanted female voices, which is how we ended up with the strip Kathy. But in the book, they talk about there's certain people who are not represented in single panel gag cartoons because those cartoonists tend to gravitate towards strips and graphic novels where they can tell a story. So you gravitated towards Pewfell to tell a story.
It's character-based humor, and that strip I just did there was sort of character-based in the end because it was like you and me, and I can sort of understand. I can put my head in the mind of the character, and then I know what the character's going to say, and the character might say or do some sort of something funny. But like coming, and they can react. A character can sort of react in a funny way, and a character can sort of say things that I wouldn't say.
The thing is, for someone who's young and wants to be a cartoonist, I don't necessarily think the New Yorker, learning how to do a New Yorker cartoon is a good idea. I don't think that there's that many avenues to merchandise those cartoons since the magazine market has shrunk. I think that having a strip like Bob the Angry Flower or Slackworm or Ogloff, I think that there's more opportunity for kids there for cartooning.
Here's
Bobby Burnt says, ooh, it's the Earth. Bobby says, I aspire to be as chill as Dale. That is a good goal.
What is your
Bobby
thing,
says,
Dale? Your fire thing?
Give that man an ice cream. Yes, I want ice cream.
Dale, do they know your fire thing?
What do you mean fire thing?
You'll retire. What is it? Financial independence.
Financially
retire
independent, retire early. Yes, I am retired, kids. Not the good retirement, the bad retirement.
All right, okay. I guess I'm going to go with my. I don't know. I sort of like just going in without underdrawing. I don't know what it is. It's more exciting. Like, underdrawing comes out technically better, but without it, all right. I'm trying to do.
Amber is reminding us.
I'm doing something a little more ambitious here. I found a picture of young Lily Tomlin doing a bit.
Okay.
She's on a headset.
Amber,
so
who is
with
a
the rat
professional
race
cartoonist, and would know this. There's something to be said about challenging yourself by trying different types of art and cartooning out of your comfort zone. I would tend to agree with her because I know Amber has tried different types. And
but also, you need to find where
Amber's
part of that is so you can.
that
Wait, can I say part of that is so that you can find your comfort zone? Because it's by trying the different things that you learn what you actually really like.
Amber is saying right back into that comfort zone, Chuck.
Right back into the comfort zone. What are you talking about? I was like, on Art Battle, I came live during the show. Even this whole live drawing thing is not my comfort zone. My comfort zone.
No, but you did shoehorn as much of your comfort zone as you could into it. It was mostly me trying to get you out of the comfort zone.
I thought this whole show was about you in your comfort zone. Talking about
Bobby,
comfort zone, sitting there reclining on your couch with your laptop on your chest.
It's not my couch.
Yeah, not even your couch. It's even more comfortable. Somebody else's couch is even more comfortable to recline on.
It's a futon. There's a big difference between a couch and a futon. Usually about $500. Bobby Burt says, I am trying to financially independently retire early by any means necessary, but the corporate forces keep clawing me in. Send help. Bobby, my advice to you is to look for the Mr. Money Mustache website and go into the forums and listen to people's stories about fire. Somehow this has now turned into a financial blog with you just entertaining people by cartooning.
Mr. Money Mustache.
Oh, and Bobby, since we are talking finances, look for...
I have a place you don't go anywhere near that website, but I don't know what it is.
Look for, oh God, Ben Felix, the Canadian, Common Sense Investing on YouTube. Stay away from Dave Ramsey, but look up Ben Felix. He's insanely boring, but all the stuff he says, he refers to articles and research papers. So he's not completely full of it. But
all right, well, good luck with that. This show
you
does
don't
not
want-
offer
you don't want
financial
the-
advice or endorse it or anything that Dale simply appears courtesy of nobody.
My Money Mustache is my father's name. I'm just Bobby. Well, I wish you
no,
luck with your
Mr.
early
No, he's saying
retirement.
Mr. Money Mustache is his father's name. I'm just Bobby.
Okay, if that's true, that would be a really freaky coincidence. But you don't want to retire like a cartoonist. Get into a real profession like, well, not law. There's too many lawyers. What's a good profession nowadays?
Yeah, lawyers are about to all be replaced by AI, just FYI.
That's the interest. Amber is pointing out New Yorker cliches: the cocktail party, a desert island, an animal in an office. The interesting thing about that book we just talked about is at the back of the book, they have long lists of the New Yorker cliches and the cliched characters.
Yes. That's a really good. I was going to call that out. Yes, that is actually a really good part of the book.
You wouldn't think that it would be, but when you read it, you go, oh my God, I've seen so many cartoons with these cliches. And they use the cliches because they work.
Well, yeah, it's a sort of familiar frame of reference, you know. Yeah.
I just saw on Facebook Island Tunes. Sorry, I was disconnected.
Cartoons.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see how many ways you can take that, so many directions you can take that cliche. Amber's also reminding us the Naked Cartoonist also goes into how to make New Yorker cartoons. I have that book. Yeah, that was, I think that book might be 10 or 20 years old now. And I have it. It's one of those books that cartoonists buy. I don't know if Amber has it. Do you have Amber, do you have Mort Gerberg's book? I think it's the Arbor House Book of Cartooning by Mort Gerberg. That was another classic that...
Okay, this is probably not underdrawing because I got the hands way too small now. The head got way too big.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right.
that's
all right. We'll just distort it a little.
Yeah, when I die, I'm going to I should give Amber my library. She could build a house out of it. It's funny, when I go up to Chuck's lovely house in San Francisco, which is not as lovely now since I've seen what their neighbor's house looks like. Their neighbor's house, awesome. Chuck kind of lives in a dump now, in my opinion. But I like to look at what books Chuck and I have.
Listen. A 3-story house with a home theater and a backyard in San Francisco is far.
Yeah, that you should be a real estate agent. That's good.
How many bathrooms?
This is coming out very wrong.
Oh, we've got Your Honor 202. Isn't Tarzan a better swinger than Spider-Man, considering he can't place his own ropes? That's out of nowhere, but
no, that's an interesting question. But he's in the jungle where there are endless supply of ropes, and so yes, so Tarzan
they're not ropes,
be a better
they're
swinger.
vines.
Yes, so the premise is Tarzan a better swinger? Yes, I'll agree with that. Okay, this one.
Bobby Bird says, "Damn, I'd have called dibs." I don't know what that refers to, Bobby. I'm sorry.
I think he's referring to my father's nice house.
Oh, you mean the house with the home theater in the garage?
Yeah, but they don't need to know about that part. It doesn't feel like you're in a garage.
It feels better.
It is a lovely
I put the curtains up, it actually does feel a lot better.
Chuck has the second loveliest home I've ever seen.
That's because it's got cartoon arse everywhere, Dale.
Oh, that's right. The death stairs. Yeah. The stairs that need about 5 or 6 more emergency handholds. Those stairs will kill me.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go down the stairs. That's fine. I'm hoping that by adding copious amounts of black and some shading, like, that's the thing of drawing. Like, you may think it's gone completely horribly wrong, and it probably has, but you can bring it back because you just react to what you did wrong and make it right.
Well, one of the reasons it is a great house is that it is in San Francisco, and it's
maybe you could make it look like he has a shriveled arm or something, and that's why it's so small.
Yeah, or we can make a funny caption where she's saying something about. That's another way. Also, I found actually the main thing that I found about cartoons is if I do a bad drawing, I put a funny caption on it, suddenly it's a good cartoon. So that's really the real secret of cartoons, is just try and do good drawings. If they don't come out good, put a funny caption on them and they'll be great cartoons.
Bobby is pointing out that if you take Tarzan out of the jungle, he's dead in the water, but Spider-Man, because he can spin webs, is the Swiss Army knife of swingers.
Yeah, so Spider-Man, you're saying Spider-Man would be better in the jungle than Tarzan would be in the city. Yes, I think that's been, but also if you remember Greystoke, he did come and he did sort of manage to sort of somewhat successfully transition to becoming an English lord.
You do also have to remember, you have to remember Tarzan has lived in the jungle his entire life. Peter Parker only became Spider-Man when he was like 15 or 16 or whatever. So another point for Tarzan, in my opinion. And I would say, I would go so far as to say, is if Tarzan somehow had web slinging abilities, he would be a way better Spider-Man than Peter Parker.
Okay.
Well, that's a good. Okay, that's a good idea.
The problem is, I'm talking to
gets bitten into like sort of Super Spider-Man, and everyone likes him better, and so Spider-Man gets a bit jealous.
Okay, the problem is I'm talking to people who are younger, and you watch the Tarzan movies not for the swinging and the adventures. You watch them for the guys in the gorilla suits. Spider-Man movies do not have people in gorilla suits.
I'm sorry, the original
Tarzan movies
didn't the original. I'm pretty sure that original Spider-Man. TV series had a guy in a gorilla suit at some point. I'd be
You're
surprised.
thinking about the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk had Charlie Gamora on one episode in his gorilla suit,
Charlie
which is the
Gamora.
same suit he used when he was in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Is he related to the Godzilla Gamoras?
No, but that suit was loaned for the British giant ape movie Conga. And he regretted loaning the suit to the studio because they damaged it and he had to repair it. So, kids, if you're watching this show,
don't lend your gorilla suit to British movie studio.
Look on Google for Hollywood Gorilla Men. It's a blog about guys who wear gorilla suits, which you want to be. Chicks dig gorilla suits. Sam, do you have a gorilla suit? Sam?
No.
You need a gorilla suit.
Oh, yeah, I feel like a bad parent. I never bought him a gorilla suit.
You are a bad parent. Get him a gorilla suit and get him a good one. Spend at least $10K.
I would really rather you spend $10K on something else.
Dude, if you had a $10K gorilla suit, that would be money in the bank.
Dale's going to give you $10K, but you're only allowed to spend it on a gorilla suit. Actually, I'd take that deal because you could probably get
I would buy my own. I'm trying to find a seller to get a good gorilla suit. Well, Bobby Blunt says it's all about inflatable T-Rex suits now. No, it isn't, Bobby.
Yes.
That's a few years ago, man. It's about inflatable gorilla suits. Look up Chubb suits and go to YouTube. Look up Adam Savage's Tested and his inflatable gorilla suit. You want a Chubb inflatable gorilla suit. Trust me.
You mean like Chubb, like the security locks insurance company?
CHUB. It's like the T-Rex suits that inflate with a fan, but it's a big,
okay, it's not an inflatable fat suit.
Well, gorilla suits normally are two suits. It's a muscle suit that you wear, and then you wear a loose gorilla suit over it with the fur and the mask. But you have to either build your own suit or have it made. Sadly, Amazon does not sell high-quality gorilla suits.
That is a shame.
It is a shame. Some men, when they retire, they buy sports cars. I want a good gorilla suit.
Well, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if there is such a thing. I mean, are all gorilla suits kind of bad? Like every time you see it in the movie, you're like, there's a guy in a gorilla suit.
No, there are people who build their own suits. Chris Wallace.
You can't tell them from real gorillas.
Well, gorilla suits don't always rely on complete realism.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, Bobby is correct. October is coming. But Bobby, real gorilla suiters, they want their gorilla suit for January 31st, which is National Gorilla Suit Day. And that's where you run around in a gorilla suit. I wear it both Halloween and National Gorilla Suit Day.
It's true, Bobby. He does.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
Well, there's a big link between cartooning and gorilla suiting. Mad Magazine had a lot of gorillas. Don Martin actually created the holiday National Gorilla Suit Day. And Bobby's getting it. Bobby's saying it's not about the suit, it's about the lore, man. I get it. You're on your way, Bobby. If you don't have a gorilla suit, Bobby.
Dale's got a fan.
look, try to go to your local costume store because they're all going out of business. And try to find like a
turn back.
try to find $100 starter gorilla suit. It's going to be terrible, but you got to start somewhere. Amber's reminding us that she owns the head of Dr. Zaius, which is true.
It's true.
She inherited it from her dad, and
this is the kind of
it's
I love it. Yes, and that is the fantastic possession. Now, is it? Wait. Though, I've been meaning to ask you lately. Is it the original Dr. Zaius, or is it like when Paul Williams was doing it? Because I don't know. I'm not sure.
Actually
they're both
that.
good.
It's actually before that. It's a super rare Edward G. Robinson Dr. Zaius.
Is he's the original Dr. Zaius?
He was going to be. Dr. Zaius was going to be played by Edward G. Robinson, but was then later replaced by, oh God, what's his name? It's Maurice
Evans. Maurice Evans.
Yes, Maurice Evans.
Who was
I will assume that all of our viewers. I will assume all of our viewers are well versed in the Planet of the Apes.
Sam's we only watched the original one once, which I don't think when he was young, so I don't think he's really seen it.
Sam, have you seen the original Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
Do you remember it well?
Yes.
What do you remember about it?
I remember there was a human who sort of just showed up in this ape society, and they kind of treated him like a prisoner, and some of them were like, oh, he's like a slave and he's not as good as us, and then some of them were like, oh no, he's actually just he's similar to us, and then there's like a whole reveal at the end where it was Earth the whole time.
Okay. Did you ever read the book?
I seem to remember it quite well.
What?
I seem to remember it quite well.
Did you ever read the book?
No, I didn't even know there was a book.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes was based on a book by, I think it was
Pierre Boulez. Pierre Boulez.
Pierre Boulez, and the title of it is actually Monkey Planet. And
well, in French, it's the Planet of the Sanges.
Okay, so you've read the book, Chuck?
No, I'm just telling you. I've spoke French. In France. I went to a place called the Forêt des Singes, and it's full of there's all these monkeys, and they just go free, and they just take everything off you. It's great.
Okay. But
that was in the late 70s, early 80s. They probably don't have that anymore.
The makeup for the apes in Planet of the Apes is not officially gorilla suiting. That's something different. But it is honorably, it is gorilla suiters are big fans of the makeup of Planet of the Apes. But that makeup and gorilla suiting are two different things. I need to
focus on that. Bobby says that he's read the books but not seen the film.
Wow,
you haven't seen the Planet of the Apes films? Oh man, you are in for some fun. Ghosts, not the modern ones, but the old school ones from the 60s and 70s. Oh man, you're gonna go get them. Go to your local used DVD store and buy them.
The modern ones are better.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Tina likes the modern ones, so I'll give them that. But I don't know. There's some good things in the modern ones. They're not bad, but you can't beat the original as far as.
Look, the original will always be the original, and you can't take that away from it. But the modern ones tell a more interesting story, in my opinion.
Okay, you're wrong.
Well, yeah, he's not wrong in that the other ones, other than the original, the other ones are pretty shitty. The
Yes,
original is
there
great.
was-
The original is like the ultimate Twilight Zone episode. That's the whole point. That's the main
Yeah.
thing about the original.
Well, actually,
it's
remember,
really Twilight Zone. It's really the actual Twilight Zone movie, really.
Rod Serling worked on the script for Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, he's credited as a screenwriter, isn't he?
Now, Bobby Burt is saying he's looking at all these Wikipedia 1970s TV series suits and chef's kits. For kids who lived before Star Wars, Planet of the Apes was the hot franchise. There was the Planet of the Apes movies. There was a Planet of the Apes Saturday morning cartoon. And there was a Planet of the Apes TV series with Roddy McDowall in ape makeup. And there was also Planet of the Ape action figures and play sets. So Star Wars killed all of that. But Planet of the Apes was a big deal for kids.
Planet of the Apes was sort of more adult than Star Wars. I don't know.
I dug Planet of the Apes a lot.
The original. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's not really true. I don't know. I mean, we had it as kids. I mean, I loved it as a kid. I loved it.
Now, my mom, when I was little, she actually made. I had a rubber chimp mask. She made me a Halloween costume so I could be Cornelius. So I've been into this ape stuff for a long time.
Would you say that's the origin of it? Uh-oh. We lost him right when he was going to expose all the lore.
I think Planet of the Apes.
Don Martin.
Don Martin. The Cartoonist for magazine, where they could draw cartoons inside, pub them as a paperback, and use the logo MAD to help sell the paperback. And Don Martin, in one of his paperbacks, had a story called National Gorilla Suit Day. And it's a classic.
It's a classic.
And everybody who's a gorilla suitor knows it. And Ian, Amber is saying that her husband Ian says Planet of the Apes was no Logan's Run.
Oh, okay. He's a Logan's Run guy. He's like, well, Jenny Agutter. I don't think Dale's going to argue with you about Jenny Agutter.
70s sci-fi was the best, and after that, all just went downhill. We had some Planet of the Apes that were 70s. We had Dark Star. I think that was 70s.
Oh yeah, Dark Star.
We had Logan's Run, Silent Running. I think Soylent Green was 70s.
Altered States.
We had Star Wars, and then we had Alien.
Oh yeah, Alien.
Oh my God, Alien was so good. Still is.
You knew that was going to scare the shit out of you.
Alien. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a remake of an older sci-fi film, but the art direction in it. Ron Cobb.
Yeah, it's the basic sci-fi film. The aliens trying to kill everyone on the spaceship. I mean,
H.R. Giger.
Basic.
It was the design. If you had Space 1999, which was this awesome sci-fi show in the 70s, a lot of the industrial look of it was used in Star Wars, and then Aliens just went further with that look. Or Alien, sorry. Sam, did you ever see Soylent Green?
I watched the Mystery Science Theater 3000 viewing of it.
Oh
No, I didn't know they had one.
Mystery Science Theater destroyed it.
So you know
it's quite
Soylent
good.
Green
It's
is
quite good.
people,
It's
right?
sort of funny. It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's people.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry, I missed that Bobby Bird said, "God damn you, George Lucas." Yeah, you know, George Lucas has a lot to answer for.
Yeah,
That
he
should have
should
been
not
one
have made
movie.
that. He should have just stuck with the first one.
One movie.
He should have worked harder on Howard the Duck, because that was pretty good. That had potential, and he just sort of let it. You know, he didn't push it. He should, like, after the first one failed, he should have just gone on and done another one. He said, "I'm George Lucas. I've got all the money I like. I'm going to do more Howard the Duck." And eventually, people would have got it.
Well, I mean, Howard the Duck
Yeah.
is making all these cameos in the MCU now, so kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was right. He was right.
They'll bring
It
him
was
back.
great. It was great. I loved Howard the Duck comics too. That was very important for me. Howard the Duck. I was like, oh, you can do that. Yeah. It was so weird. I mean, I was already reading Judge Dredd and that sort of stuff, but there was something sort of very mysterious about Howard, the way that he sort of
They
inhabits
still have
these
yet-
different worlds.
Well, I liked Carl Urban as Judge Dredd, and I liked that movie. They have
Yes.
still yet to make a Judge Dredd movie that is based on the comic book, because the comic book's a satire. So,
All right. Amber, thank you. Look, people, look, are you putting the comments up when they come up? We need to put those comments up on the screen there, producer, next time. But all right,
Well,
thanks
you don't
for
need to do that.
everyone
I don't
tuning
need
in.
to do that for every comment.
this episode has been a. Wait, you guys haven't seen Huey. Hang on.
You haven't seen Huey. All right.
I gotta find Huey. Huey.
All right. Well, while Adele looks for his cat to say goodbye. His cat's a famous film producer now. They'll start having to write correspondence on behalf of his cat. All right, he's in there. There's a cat in there. That's the famous Huey, the mighty Huey, producer of video
Huey and
broadcast.
IMDb.
Yeah, look him up on IMDb. All right, so yeah, my drawing there. Well, that was supposed to be Lily Tomlin, young Lily Tomlin. Didn't quite come out. Or I probably should have penciled.
I think it turned out all right in the end.
It's all right. I sort of managed to recover it a little bit. The secret again is do your underdrawing, but you know, that felt a bit chickeny.
Well, today's show was a train wreck, even though we had great guests and great.
I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought it was a pretty good show. We had a good.
I think it was a good show.
All
right, okay, I'm going to say goodbye now before we ruin it. It's been great. We'll be back again next week.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, Bobby,
Amber,
thanks so much for
Your
tuning
Honor.
in. We're back every week at this time, Saturday from 10 Pacific till noon, and in other parts of the world, that's later in the day. All right, and here's the theme tune. We've still got the old theme tune. One of these days, soon, I'm going to have a proper theme tune for the show. And then you'll be able to say, I remember the old theme tune. But for now, so here's the old theme tune.
Song for Chuck Whelan Showy. He asked me to write one, but I stole from David Bowie. Here's a theme song. Chuck Whelan is the best. We have lots of hosts, but we're running out of gas. Will you be our guest on? Will you be our guest on? Beyond the Chuck Whelan Show.